So let's go and say, hey,
Sure.
what is Medxoom before I feel we move on to the rest of that?
No,
that
of course, and we
conversation.
can do that. But before I jump into that, I want to say a line that I'm stealing from a friend, Dutch Rojas.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, if you want to pay less for healthcare, you have to pay less for healthcare. And getting to know Dutch over the last couple of years and hearing that line quite often from him, it just resonates. Because I look at healthcare as a whole, and why is it the way it is? And again, I have a layman's view of it. You know, I didn't grow up in this space. And my take on it is, why is it this way? Why do you have to hand over a plastic ID card that everything behind that card is hidden? You have no idea what something costs. And the system has been set up that way so the members never know. And it's the same thing now where with some of this, you know, price and transparency laws that are coming out, it's aimed to educate or urge the consumer to become a better, you know, or educate themselves on how to be a consumer of actual healthcare and understand that there are different prices and costs for the same procedure depending on where you go. Well,
we have that mutual friend, Marshall Allen, that's he's out there being an advocate for the average American, right? That is not in our industry, doesn't know any of the things that you and I have been exposed to, but are now becoming aware through a balanced bill or some sort of egregious, you know, even exploitation of them during a hospital stay or something like that, and going, what do I do? And so he's arming people with what to do retrospectively or retroactively. But then the front end is really where I think the opportunity lies, which is where you guys sit, right?
If you can intercept, or again, if our platform enables the administrators, the health plans, to potentially intercept the member before they make a bad financial decision. And it's a bad financial decision not only for the plan, but for that individual member. I mean, I don't know the exact statistic, but it's, you know, 1 in 4 people couldn't afford a $500 healthcare bill right now. And if you have the ability to eliminate that, and people can go get the care they need when they need it, and it doesn't impact them financially negatively, I mean, that's the utopia, right? If you can solve that, I feel like, you know, that's where you can start making some true inroads in, you know, breaking this system as to the way it's always been.
You said it like earlier, like it's intentionally keeping individuals in the dark about what things cost, right? So most of the time, even if you wanted to know in normal circumstances, you're going to go to a service provider, you're going to go to a hospital, you're going to go to a surgical center. They might roughly tell you what it costs, or they might tell you, hey, we don't know until we bill your insurance. They know what they're going to bill based on what the contract says, but they have no idea what you're going to pay or what your employer is going to pay or what the insurance carrier is going to cover. And so everybody is effectively left in the dark, and it's like, hey, we'll just wait and we'll find out later. And it could be $100,000, it could be $5,000, and you don't know. And it's not just the medical side, it's the pharmacy side as well. I talked to a guy the other day, which they've set up a technology which allows them to effectively wholesale, you know, dollar for dollar, give away the drugs for cost for generic drugs, but then they're the back room, the engine with the robotics to fill those prescriptions. But when you find out how much spread pricing is in a prescription, and it actually costs you more money to swipe your card for a drug that you might be able to get a penny a pill if you just got it at cost, it's insanity, right? But you've inserted this middleman and the contracts that they've negotiated on your behalf, and you have no idea what either side is going to be paying. It's crazy.
It's totally crazy. I've actually, you know, one of the unique things about our platform that allows people to do is sometimes eliminate the network. Because as you said, within the PBM space, you have that spread pricing behind the scenes where you just, you know, everything's going to be inflated. Well, if you can align, and again, it's, why can't healthcare be like any other transaction? If I want to go get a bottle of water, I go into a store, I pick up the bottle of water, and I go pay for it. I use a payment credential.
And you see a sign that says 99 cents as you grab it out of the shelf.
Exactly. And that's, healthcare does have the ability for that to happen. And I've proven this myself, even with, you know, within the last couple of weeks. I called up, it was actually a foot doctor prior to the race. I had a little bit of a foot injury, needed to see someone just to make sure it wasn't broken. I called up and I said, what's your cash price for an office visit? I'd never been there before. And they gave me the office visit price. I went, I got some x-rays, and I asked them, hey, listen, you know I'm paying cash today. which I did. Can you just invoice me after the fact for the x-rays? And they said, yeah, no problem. So instead of submitting a claim, to an administrator, where it would hit a rate card on a contract negotiation between an insurance company and a provider that has nothing to do with the member, they just simply billed me $36 for 3 x-rays that I was more than happy to pay $36 for.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of speaks to why I'm a believer in DPC as well, direct primary care, is because it's pulling a lot of the routine claims out of the insurance equation altogether, which is what insurance wasn't obviously originally designed for.
Yep.
In your circumstance, those might have been a few $100, $1,000 if billed through insurance, then negotiated down, right, 50% discount, and they pay a couple $100 or whatever. But $36 is the cost passed on to you. You pay directly. It's outside of the spectrum of insurance. It doesn't hit the plan, doesn't affect the renewal, yada, 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 right? Like if we were to do that, most of the time, rather than go through insurance, you would see the cost curve come down just by very nature of reduction of claims, right? So that you guys are doing that to a degree, but let's talk about Medxoom, the solution. Categorize it for me. What do you consider yourselves in the InsurTech space?
We look at ourselves as a technology platform that has the ability to improve the financial outcomes for both plans and members.
Okay.
So that's the 50,000 foot view.
Yeah.
I think if you drop down a little bit lower and go into the weeds, it's a true white labeled member experience. What we found is that, and again, our clients are third-party administrators, health plans, brokers, all that are selling out to employer groups directly. And what we find is that there are thousands of different flavors of health plans. Some have telehealth solutions baked in, some have specialty PBMs, some have direct primary care, some are reference-based pricing, some are PPO plans, some are no network plans. And what our platform allows the administrator to do is bring all those unique components of that health plan, white label it in one singular experience so the member has one place to go. They can interact with a benefits wallet. They can interact to find care. They can align with the provider on what a price is. And all these things are what the platform is capable of. And it's, again, I like to say I'm the layman, within healthcare here. I defer and I look at the administrators and the brokers and the plans as the experts. They know what they're looking to achieve, and they've aligned with the correct solutions to hopefully lower, financial and planned cost for those members. We just make them easy to execute on their vision.
Yeah.
Because the platform allows so many unique experiences and unique ideas from those experts to now be deployed out into the member groups.
Let's say, like, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have a way for a member to interface with something that allows the execution of that strategy, because it's one thing for a broker to go explain to the CFO and the head of HR, here's what we're going to do and this is why it's great. All that information has to trickle down to the member. The member has to have constant communication, and then they have to have easy access to now go deploy the solution. If you can't check all those boxes, the best strategy in the world is going to fall flat, right? Because you don't have utilization, you don't have engagement. So how are you getting these members incentivized either through a carrot or a stick or both, or just quality of experience? How do you get them in the platform actually using it?
Yeah, it's great. And that's where a lot of times the administrators and the brokers are so key. We're rolled out in a number of different facets, a lot through open enrollment meetings, through ongoing, drip campaigns, to download. But where we've seen, the best adoption, and it was, a couple of clients did this. One, first and foremost, they eliminated the plastic ID cards. Okay. And they just said,
you don't get a card anymore.
No,
right? Yeah.
you can order one, but you, Mr. or Mrs. Healthcare member, it's your financial responsibility to actually pay for that card. So you go full digital and you get adoption. I think we saw in clients that have done that, you're looking at 70+% download and enrollment within the first week.
Yeah.
So, truly great adoption. The other is, and we have a lot of clients that have, work with third-party care navigation or concierge teams. And what we've seen a lot of times is, on plan year renewal or plan launch, there's always some proactive reach out from those care teams to the members, introducing them, hey, listen, I'm going to be your care navigator this year. If you need to interact with me in any way, do so through the application. here's how you get the application on your phone right now, or here's the, you know, the web portal that you log into. Here's the information I can send you about it right now. So even though that's not us, you know, it's a third party that's part of the platform now because it's part of the health plan. They're the ones and they understand that if you can get the members to call them, that's when they shine. And so it's a great symbiotic relationship between us as the overlying technology company and all the other vendors that we've integrated into the platform at, you know, at the request of the plan, obviously.
Well, it's a dashboard, right? Like if I'm shopping for anything, I mean, I can almost envision like it's like the Amazon shopping experience. I log in, search for what I need. Here's all the vendors that pop up. I evaluate them based on rankings and based on price, and then I make a purchasing decision based on that. And they've simplified from search to, you know, getting that package on your doorstep. They've simplified that every step of the way. It sounds kind of like applying at least the same logic.
Yeah, it's a marketplace.
Yeah, it's a marketplace.